okay, no worries. We have a few more people on now. Shall we?
Okay, perfect. Yeah,
Shall we
want to
get
go ahead and
started?
get started? Yeah,
Yeah, let's
sure.
go.
Okay, so hey everyone, hey. Welcome to our Instagram live self-care workshop. My name's Lolita. I'm here with my friend Michael, and we're from YouthSpeak, an organization. An organization. We go to schools and institutions all around the GTA, and we have youth share their stories of lived experience surrounding things like mental health, substance misuse, bullying prevention, online overdrive, pretty much everything under the sun. And yeah, this organization has been around for about 17 years. So we're excited today to be bringing you a self-care workshop. Today you're going to be hearing from myself and Michael. We're going to be sharing our stories with you guys. And we're also going to be sharing some self-care tips, some coping tools that you guys can use, things that we have personally used throughout our journey when we were going through some difficult times. And, you know, keep in mind that we definitely want this to be an open discussion.
Lolita, your mic went out.
Hello? Am I better?
Yeah, you're good, you're
Okay,
good, you're
sorry. Okay,
good.
yeah. So yeah, so you guys, if you guys have any questions, just feel free to shoot them off into the comments, and we'll be sure to try and get to them. As well as you're going to be hearing our stories, and if at any point you feel, because they are our personal stories, so if at any point you feel upset or triggered by any of the subject matter that you hear, definitely feel free to just take a minute for yourself, and also definitely reach out to some of the resources that we will be mentioning in this workshop, as well as Kids Help Phone. I wasn't able to pin the comment, but definitely Kids Help Phone is something that I've used. So if at any point you're struggling, if you hear something that makes you upset, definitely go on to Kids Help Phone or use any of the other resources you hear about here in this workshop.
Yeah, cool. All right. So yeah, nicely said. And I'll just do a little intro, and then Lolita, you can do the same. So, hi everyone. I'm Michael, and I am a youth speaker as well as a facilitator for YouthSpeak. And I've been with our charity for about a year. I'm also a full-time student. I study business here in the GTA. And I'll tell you a little bit more about me as we go on when you hear my story. But yeah, that's that. And Lolita?
Definitely. So again, I'm Lolita, and I'm a youth speaker as well as a facilitator with YouthSpeak, and I've been with YouthSpeak for the past about a year and some change. And I'm just excited now because even though we're going through a lot of difficult times with COVID, it's been a really difficult time for all of us. I'm excited about the programming that we're getting to roll it out online. So it's something that I'm really excited about. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, for
Yeah.
sure. We'll talk a lot about that, but a lot of people have been working really hard to bring a lot of great stuff out there.
For sure.
All right, so today we are going to be talking about mental health, but specifically focusing on self-care. So, Lolita, take it away.
For sure. And I want to start by asking the audience. So you guys get ready to fire off some comments into the comment box. I want to ask you guys, what does self-care look like to you? Do you have a self-care routine? What exactly is that? And I guess while we're waiting for some of those answers to populate, I'm going to ask you, Michael, what does your self-care look like today? What is your self-care routine, or what does it mean to you today?
All right. Good question. For me, self-care is whatever makes me feel good. Whatever makes me feel good. And it's interesting because for me, I feel like it's not always what I want to do necessarily, right? But it's what's going to make me feel good about myself at the end of the day, right? It could be, getting some exercise in. Even though I may just want to stay in bed and do nothing,
Yep.
I know it'll help me and I'll feel good afterwards. So that's what I'll do. but yeah, and sometimes it takes some time to figure out what works for you and what
For
doesn't.
sure. For sure.
Sometimes it's going out and talking to people. Sometimes it's staying in and spending some alone time, as I like to call it. Uh,
Definitely.
right? So
And
it
I
it
find
depends.
also
Yeah.
from time to time, definitely from time to time, my self-care routine looks different. Sometimes my self-care routine is consisting all just about my hair, and I'm focused just about my hair. And sometimes I'm just focusing on
Mm,
my mental, or I sort of compartmentalize like that. So, yeah.
right, right. Yeah, yeah, no, exactly. So for those of you just joining, we just put a question out. What does self-care look to you? So
And we
we
got
just
one
got,
answer.
yeah, self-care looks like dedicating some time for myself each day. Yeah,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
that's super important. For me, like, I know that's something I really had to learn, because I would make a to-do list for myself, but I wouldn't necessarily put in time for self-care. So,
Mm.
you always have to give yourself a little bit of time to reflect and take care of yourself. Someone else said self-care to me is pressing the reset button
Pressing.
after a rough day.
Absolutely. For me, that is huge. Again, just like you said, we're always going, going, going. Me too. My to-do list always consists of all the million things that I have to do for work, for this, for that. Sometimes it's good. I keep a to-do list just for my personal self-care. Like, what are the things that I need
Mm,
personally for myself, right?
love
Good way
that.
to keep track of it, for sure. And Hips also said it's not always easy, but extremely necessary. I agree 100% with that.
Yeah.
Mm. Also,
Uh,
Alex said, hockey with tunes blasting. Yes, it's meditation, definitely.
all right.
Yes.
I like that. Yeah, for sure. Oh my gosh, great answers. So
Yes, loving
w-
that.
we have a definition. Let's just read it out really quickly. Do you have it? Lolita, you want to go ahead?
Yes. Yeah. So, just a quick Google definition of self care. Self care is the practice of taking action to preserve or improve one's own health. And it also says the practice of taking an active role in protecting one's own well being and happiness in particular during stressful times.
Hmm. I
So
like
think,
that. I like that. I like that last one for sure because
mhm.
I like the active part. Like
Yes,
you actually have to make time for it and sometimes actively say no to something or actively say yes to something in order to make that self-care happen for you, right? So sorry, go ahead.
exactly.
What
No,
were
I
you
was
gonna
just about
say?
to say, just like someone said in the comments, self care to me is spending the time with myself, even if it's just 5 minutes a day, just like you're saying exactly. So being conscious, taking, even if it's just that 5 minutes, but being conscious and actively taking that time.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
All right. So that was great. Thank you, everyone. And just in case you hear in the background, I have a parrot and he's screaming his head off. So if you hear screaming, that's what it is. Don't worry, no one's in pain over here. Okay, so let's continue. So now let's tell everyone our story. So I guess
For sure.
I'll go first if that's cool.
Yeah, of course. Go ahead.
All right, so I'm gonna tell you all my mental health story. So for me, my mental health challenge is dealing with depression, specifically high functioning depression. That was my diagnosis. And what that means is, unless I told you that I go through mental health challenges, you would never know. That's what high functioning means. It means I can still do a lot. I'm still able to, you know, do all the things I need to do to keep me healthy, like I get enough sleep, I'm eating properly, I exercise. So no one would really know, and that's some people might think, oh, you know what, like that's good, like that doesn't sound that bad, but it's actually terrible because I felt like I had to put on an act because no one really knew what was going on inside of me. And so for me, I first started to notice a change in my mental health when I was in high school, grade 10 and 11. And I don't know why, but I just kind of felt sad all the time. Um, the first few things I noticed was my motivation really went down. I didn't really want to do much, even though I was involved in a lot. I was a competitive swimmer, so I was always involved in sports and schoolwork and all that stuff. I didn't really have a drive to do much. Nothing really made me happy anymore. My grades dropped significantly. And that continued for a few years. And I thought, you know what, like, this will pass. Like, I got this. It'll get better. But it ended up getting worse. And into university, the depression got worse. And I would feel sad a lot. I would feel sad all the time. I would have these nervous, almost emotional breakdowns where I would feel sad and just want to cry for no reason. And I remember one particular night, and which was really hard for me. I was at a friend's birthday, and we were out, we were having fun. It's one of those restaurants that later at night they put on music and people were dancing and things like that. So it was a really fun place. Everyone was having fun. But inside, I felt terrible. I was having one of those breakdowns on the inside, trying to keep it together. And I remember that particular night, it was so intense. I went to the washroom and I just started crying because I didn't know what to do. And I just felt so terrible, and I was saying terrible things to myself, and it just wasn't fun. So this kept going on for a while until in university, in one of my classes, one of my professors talked about mental health and kind of mentioned a few resources that we can use to seek help. And then something just clicked for me that day. Like, I just decided, like, you know what, I don't want to feel like this anymore. I'm going to do something about it. Took me a few months to actually act on that because it's super tough. I didn't really understand what I was going through. And that's the other thing I want to mention. A lot of times this stuff happens because you go through some kind of traumatic event or something really unfortunate happens to you. For me, that wasn't the case. I had a really good childhood, really good upbringing. I grew up with both my parents. I was very lucky. I'm very grateful for a lot of things, and I've gotten a lot of opportunities, but still I felt this way inside. And then I finally went to reach out, and it felt really good. It felt like a weight off my shoulders for sure. It felt like finally I told someone what was going on inside of me for years that no one else knew, not even my closest friends, not my family. And that's when my journey to start to understand my depression really started, because it's not over there. I had to put in a lot of work, a lot of time to understand what I was going through, and a lot of patience too, to kind of understand what my mental health struggle meant for me and what I can do about it. And we'll talk a lot about some tips and supports and stuff like that. But since then, I've been constantly working on my mental health. I finally did reach out to people, so now a lot of people that are close to me know what I deal with and how I deal with it, and I'm really grateful that I have a lot of support. So that is my story, and I'm not done. You'll hear more about me and the things that I do on a daily basis. But Now, without further ado, Lolita is going to tell you her story, which is very different than mine, and it's incredible. So
Yeah.
take it away.
First, I want to thank you for sharing your story because I know firsthand sharing our story what a vulnerable thing it is to do, and to admit some of our our darkest moments. It's such a vulnerable thing. So I thank you for even sharing with us.
Yeah.
I actually had a question about. I just had two questions about when you got your diagnosis. Was that difficult for you? Was that something like how did you take it? Was it a difficult pill to swallow?
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Good question. Um, no, it wasn't actually for me. I
Hmm.
was almost relieved because
Yeah.
finally something that I could never understand had a name to it. And it's like, okay,
Right.
now I can actually start to deal with it,
Right.
right?
Right.
And that's really hard. It's really
Right.
hard to diagnose sometimes, but um, it's a place to start for me.
Definitely.
That's
Definitely.
that's what I kind of felt like. Yeah,
Great. Thank you. Yeah,
yeah.
thank you. You answered my next question in answering the first question. So thank you. Thank
You're
you
welcome.
so
You're
much,
welcome.
Mel. Thank you so much, Michael, for sharing that. So I guess, yes, without further ado, I'll get into my story. Like Michael mentioned, my story is a very different. There's a lot of things that of course, we all share a lot of the same feelings, thoughts, and things like that. But we had a lot of different experiences with our mental health struggles. And my mental health struggles began around the same time when I was in high school. But a bit of background: when I grew up in a priority neighborhood. And for those of you that don't know what a priority neighborhood is, it's a neighborhood where a lot of the families that live within the neighborhood are of low income, and there's a lot of crime, violence, things like that. So it'd be a quote unquote a bad neighborhood, So I think a lot of my self-esteem issues sort of stemmed from that, from being from that neighborhood and having a sort of stigma put on me. And I mean, despite that factor, despite me growing up in that type of neighborhood, I felt like I had a pretty normal upbringing. I loved going to school. That's where I felt safest because at my home, there was always a lot of stuff going. There was a lot of chaos. My mom was raising four others. So my mom's a single mom, and she's raising four other children. So it's a house of I have four other siblings, single mom. She's working really, really hard to be able to provide for us. Pretty much, she worked about three different jobs just to be able to keep the food on the table and a roof above our head. So if you can
Wow.
imagine, she's going through her own stresses. And I mean, now looking back now, I see that she had a lot of her own pressures and a lot of her own stresses to deal with, and I feel like
Hmm.
that's a lot of the times why we clashed. And like I said, once I got into high school, ultimately we kept clashing. I just ended up, because I felt like I didn't have much support or guidance. I felt like I didn't have that support, even though she was always there. I She was always busy, and I didn't want to burden her because I already knew she was going with her dealing with her own stresses. So I sort of dealt with things on my own, sort of bottled everything up. I started having lots of problems with anger issues, started getting into trouble at school, started getting in trouble with the law, ultimately started getting into lots of arguments with my mom, and from there I got kicked out from from my home. And it was about grade 10 when this happened. So if you can imagine being in grade 10, trying to support yourself through school and being homeless, it was a really difficult time in my life. A lot of those days I had to decide whether I could have lunch money or bus fare. So that's where again, I went down to an even darker path, just not having a lot of the supports that I needed at that time as a young girl. I went down an even darker path, started skipping school, just doing all the wrong things, negative coping mechanisms, drinking, smoking, just partaking in all the wrong things. And ultimately, it led me into a very toxic relationship. And this was ultimately one of the lowest points in my life. And in this relationship with this gentleman, it was a very, very controlling, very toxic, and very abusive relationship where he controlled every single aspect of my life. And I felt like in that moment, in those moments, I didn't really have a really high self-esteem. I didn't really have lots of love for myself. So I ultimately didn't know that I deserved more. And yeah, ultimately ended up going through a lot with that situation. And I remember this one particular situation where I was going to school and I got a text message from one of my male classmates who lived just down the street from me. And it was just an innocent text message asking me if I was going to meet at the bus stop because we went to the same school. We'd catch the bus together. And my boyfriend at the time seen that. And ultimately, that made him upset and a huge fight broke out. And I just remember being in such a hurry just to get out of the house that in the moment I didn't even realize I'd been injured. So once I got to school, I looked down, I realized I had been injured, and it was in that very moment that I decided, you know what, enough is enough. And immediately I excused myself to the bathroom where I started having another panic attack, started crying, just heart beating. I felt completely out of control, didn't know who to turn to, but I knew I had to do something. So I decided that I would speak to my teacher about what was going on. So I stayed back that day and I talked to her about what was going on. And what really shocked me is she told me that she had experienced something very similar. And she told me that, you know what, Lolita, in order for you to love someone else, you have to first find that love within yourself. And that was the first time I'd ever heard of that concept, self-love. But ultimately, it was such a powerful statement because I took that and decided that I wanted to find that love within myself. I wanted to find out what it looked like. And that's where my self-care journey started. I started to take the time to put those routines in place that could help me with my mental health because I knew I was going down a slippery slope and I just wanted to feel better. So ultimately, I started doing things like yoga and positive affirmations. That was one thing that really, really helped me to pull myself through some of the most difficult times. So yeah, that's pretty much my story. Yeah, so thank you guys for listening.
Wow, wow, incredible. That's, yeah, definitely very different than what I went through. I can't even imagine, but I definitely can relate to some of the feelings that you were talking about for sure. So I have a question that I think is going to lead us nicely into what we're going to talk about next. When you first
Mm-hmm.
started um, when you first started to look at the mental health challenge that you were faced with, um, what did you do in terms of taking care of yourself? Like, where did you start at the very beginning when you were really confused and all this? Now, let me just say, we definitely recommend that talking to a mental health professional is always beneficial, but we acknowledge that there's also things that we can do for ourselves, right? So,
Yeah, for
with that
sure.
being said, in the moment when you were really struggling, you didn't really know what was going on, what did you do? How did you find a little bit of self-love?
That's a great question. The first thing I did, I first thing I did was I turned to YouTube. Believe it or not, the first thing I did was turn to YouTube because I knew that there was a lot of content on there in terms um, of finding out exactly what self-love and self-care really was, and trying to find some videos that would educate myself on exactly what to do and how to do it. So I started there and I found some motivational speakers, and that's ultimately what really, really helped me because I would hear all these motivational speakers talking about positive affirmations and how they can help to really build your psyche and build yourself back up. So what I did was I took my favorite lipstick and I wrote on my mirror, I am strong, I am beautiful, and I am capable of all my dreams and goals. And I would read that every single day. I'd see it plastered on my mirror, and every day I would read that to myself until I start to actually believe those words. And even still to this day, if I'm having a rough day, I always go to my affirmations. That's the first thing I go to. So I feel like that was the beginning, starting to sort of build myself up so that I could move into the direction that I ultimately really wanted for myself.
Yeah, wow, love that. No, for sure. It's funny you say YouTube because that was me too.
Really, yeah.
At the very beginning, especially when I would get in those deep dark moments and I didn't know what to do. I didn't really know what depression was. I heard of it. Same thing, YouTube. I would just look up like videos about depression. I would look up the amount of times I searched on YouTube like depression motivation
Yep.
and
Yeah.
just watch. It was kind of like those 10-minute morning motivation videos that
Exactly.
that I'm sure we've all come across at some point on YouTube.
Yep.
And it didn't make it go away, but in that moment it really did help. Things like Netflix used to help me just getting lost in something else for a while. Exercise helped me. That really helps me stay present, I find.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Just like you said with staying present, for me, meditation was the next step, the next part. For me, I was
Mm,
dealing with a lot of anger issues, and and I felt like that really, really helped me to sort of ground myself, calm myself, even as simple as a deep breathing exercise, something as simple as that. I mean, people think meditation has to be this huge thing where you're sitting cross-legged and it's like this huge
hmm
immersive thing. You're there for an hour. It doesn't have to be like that. It can literally be just 5 minutes of being silent with yourself and just being mindful in that moment. So, and deep breathing. So,
Absolutely, yeah, for sure. And I know there's a lot of apps that can help you do that if you don't know where to start, for sure.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, awesome. So now thinking about where you started from, and then I'll go ahead and answer. And thinking about where you are today, um, let's talk about what's going on right now. Being at home, not being able to go out, things like that. Um, how do you find that's impacting your mental health, your self-care? Why don't we talk a little bit about that?
For sure. For me personally, I am definitely an outdoor person. I'm not a homebody at all. I spend just my sleeping time pretty much at home, so that has been a huge transition for me. Spending a lot of my time at home, but I still take the time to just take a walk. I have a bunch of creeks around my house, a few beaches around my house. So any chance I get, I take that fresh air because it has been really difficult being kind of cooped up in the house. But
Mm,
I'm still trying to take those moments and being mindful when I feel like I'm feeling agitated, I'm feeling cooped up. Okay, time to take a walk.
mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for you, you're saying that like the main self-care thing that you find really helps is walking, going
Yeah, during
outside.
these COVID times,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
During quarantine, walking for me, for sure. Just
for
being
sure.
out with nature, for sure.
Awesome. Yeah, so just a reminder, if you didn't hear at the very beginning, if anyone who's watching has any questions or comments, please fire away and we'll go ahead and answer them. But for me, yeah,
Oh,
this, yeah, so someone said my youngest son is struggling ever since COVID
just,
started. For sure. It's changed a lot of things for a
yeah.
lot of people. I am a full-time student, like I said at the very beginning. I'm doing school online, and it's different not having to see people or being in front of people. I feel like I'm attached to my computer all the time. And other than that, in terms of my mental health, it's been different. It's been different. I was actually um, doing reasonably well for a little while, and then recently, a few weeks ago, something happened, and it was a little bit triggering for me, and I really noticed a difference when normally I could just, call up my friends and ask to hang out. Now it's like,
Right.
ooh, like I can't really go anywhere or do anything. So I'm definitely feeling it. I'm feeling the isolation. So for me, what I do is I spend time outside. I get some exercise in, and I talk to people all the time.
Yeah, for
Even
sure.
even though you can't physically see people, well, you can, but not like before,
Yeah,
right? A lot of people are always a phone call away,
definitely.
and yeah, no. So it's definitely different. It's
Yeah,
definitely different.
something I find now is like now I'm actively looking for ways because I feel like this is going to be the new normal. So now I'm actively trying to find ways to replace the things that I used to love doing. Like, how can I do them online, or how can I do it now still, right? Because with yoga, that's something that I used to love doing, and now all the studios are closed. Of course, everything's
Yeah,
closed. So now me and my friends get together and we do yoga on Instagram or on WhatsApp on live video. So trying to find those little things and actively trying to seek out those little things is helping me definitely. It's difficult for everyone right now.
yeah, no, for sure. I definitely hear that. Um, so from my experience, and I would say, and correct me if I'm wrong, but so if you don't know what YouthSpeak is and who we are, normally we would go into schools and do presentations and workshops for kids in elementary school, teens and youth in high school, and we present our stories similar to this.
Yeah.
Um, and a lot of the things that I hear from my experience, just talking with kids one on one, is they're going through something and they don't really know what to do or where to go to get that help. Muriel, I see your comment. We'll talk about that in just a second.
Yes.
But yeah, what would you say to that if people don't know where to like where to even start?
In terms of finding a self-care routine in times like this,
Or just support in general. Yeah.
you know what? I find go online right now because everyone knows that it's a struggle and we're under these really difficult times. There's lots of content, there's lots of resources out there online that are catering to what's going on right now. Even there was a paint party that someone put up the other day. So there are definitely resources. There was an online group meditation session that somebody put out the other day. So I feel like
Mm,
right now everyone's putting out a lot of content. So definitely getting online and finding those content and actually utilizing them.
yeah, love that. Love
Yeah, and I
that.
actually want to speak to Mirel's comment
Yeah, go ahead.
about son meditating and getting motivated. It's just like what Michael, I think you said this earlier. Sometimes you don't necessarily want you have the feeling to do these things, but you in the back of your mind you know that for your self-care these things are going to be good, so that kind of gives you that extra motivation.
Hmm.
So I mean it can be, I mean, how old, Mira, if you don't mind me asking, how old is your son?
Yeah,
Because
I was thinking that too.
yeah, because I mean, at any age, it can be really difficult motivating yourself. But I find that maybe having him pick a why, right? For me, I know that my why is my self care is so important to me that I'm going to go take this walk, whether or not I necessarily feel like doing it. If that
Yeah,
makes sense, yeah.
yeah, for
So
sure,
finding
for
a
sure.
strong why behind, like why, maybe you can find something that a cool game that, oh, 18, okay, so maybe you can find something something, an activity to do outside.
Yeah. So here's what I would say to that. Muriel, first of all, thank you for your comment because I'm sure you're not the only person who knows someone that's struggling. So
For sure.
I we really appreciate it. First of all, um, I completely understand where you're coming from, because I think if any one of us had someone really close to us that we can see we're struggling, we would want to do everything to help.
For sure.
However, I really think you can't force people to do things that they don't really want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I would suggest that you maybe have a conversation with him. If he really doesn't want to go for a walk or a bike ride, ask what he does want to do, or ask what you and him can do together, because that's very different than saying, you should go outside, it'll make you feel better. I'm not saying that's what you're doing, but just try and have that open conversation and see if something comes up there.
Yeah. Because also,
Yeah, go ahead.
sorry, everyone's self-care routine looks different.
Yes,
Some
exactly.
people may like going for a run, whereas I'm not very much of a big runner. So that's something it's not going to give me the same effect on my mental health. I like writing, so that's something that's more suited to an activity that I would enjoy.
Yeah. And like Marika's saying, small steps, and
Yeah.
try different things until you find something that works for you. Absolutely.
Definitely, and that's the key. I feel like I know you can speak to this with the beginning of our all these things going on. We had to try so many different methods before we found that self-care routine or that thing that actually worked for us, that actually made us feel better. So you got to get out there and definitely try a number of different things for sure.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. Like at the very beginning, I didn't understand the mental health struggle I was going through, so I didn't really know what would help me. Now I know, but at the very beginning, I was trying all different kinds of things. Um, but yeah, I think it takes a little bit of patience. Oh, you're
For
welcome,
sure.
Mario. You're welcome.
Yes.
Yeah, if you have any follow-up questions to that, definitely let us know. But yeah,
Yes.
it's really great that you're looking after him like that.
Yeah. And I like that. Definitely, I like that suggestion too. Hibs. The reward. Yes, that's how I do it. That's exactly it. Like, okay, I know that I want to have some ice cream later, then I better do my yoga because guess what?
Yeah, exactly, exactly,
Yes.
for sure. And I think some another really important point to keep in mind, whenever you suspect or that someone is going through a mental health struggle, you want to always make sure that you're creating a safe space. Exactly. Thank you. See, timing is
Yeah.
perfect here. I'm thankful.
Yes.
I'm thankful that he's very open with me. So I
And
know for
that's
sure,
amazing.
Mario, that you are creating a safe space, because he
Yep.
wouldn't be open with you if you weren't.
So that's
Um,
amazing.
so yeah, just you know, um, try and be free of judgment, and just let them know that you're there if they ever do want to reach out, if they ever do need you. um, I'm really grateful that my parents were always there for me, but in terms of them helping me, I don't really talk to them much about what I'm going through. That's just because I feel a little bit better going through it on my own, and that's fine. They check in with me every now and then, but the important thing is I know that if I ever do need to go to them, I would feel safe doing so. So that's awesome.
Great.
I love that. Yeah. So if anyone has
Marika
has
says,
any
as a
questions, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead,
sorry,
Lydia.
no, Marika's comment says, as a parent, sometimes compassion for their struggle. Absolutely. Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah. Having the compassion, right? And knowing that they're struggling. Like you said, Michael, just having the patience. So for sure. I agree with that for sure. 100%.
Yeah, patience is really important, both for the person who's going through it and the people who are involved,
Yeah.
because for the person that's going through it, they're as frustrated or sometimes feel as helpless as you probably feel with as an outsider, because you can't help, because it takes time to understand, and it takes time. and
Yeah.
it's just tough. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's great. You guys, thank you so much. I'm going to actually open the floor now for any questions. If you guys have any questions for me or Michael about our stories, any questions about YouthSpeak, or even any questions about self-care, any question under the sun, we're here to answer some questions. So go ahead,
Yeah.
fire off any questions you guys have, any comments, go ahead and fill up the comment section.
For sure, for sure. So
Yeah.
while you all are doing that, let's talk about some resources.
Mm.
So I guess I'll start. For me, for sure, YouTube. Anything you want to
Yes.
know about, YouTube is there. Um, Sometimes I find I have to take a little bit of a break from social media,
Mm-hmm.
um, especially in the morning. Um, an influencer who I do follow, who has helped me tremendously through understanding my mental health and giving me some tips and resources to get through it, is an influencer named Mel Robbins. She's on Instagram. She has a best-selling book, The 5 Second Rule. She has a bunch of best-selling audiobooks. She has a bunch of tools, and so I follow her. I follow other people that really inspire me. Um, if I know for crisis lines, we have Kids Help Phone, which is in the pinned comment there. Um, and you can always go to the Canadian Mental Health Association. Lots of apps. Um, and yeah,
Also,
go ahead.
and say our website for sure.
Yeah,
Now we have our website also has we have self-care tips sheets, self-care tip sheets, a bunch of different resources. So definitely hop up to youthspeak.ca and check out some of the resources we have there. But not we don't only have resources there. We also have links to our YouTube. Now we do also have a podcast. So we have a bunch of different programs and programs that we're going to be rolling out over the next few weeks. So
yeah,
yeah, definitely look out for all of those.
for sure. Love that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we're almost done, but I want to end off with a few questions. So first of all, Lolita,
Mm-hmm.
um, having gone through what you went through with your mental health struggles, seeing where you are now, is there like one really prominent thing you learned, piece of advice you want to leave all of our amazing, beautiful viewers with? And if so,
Mm-hmm.
what would it be?
I think my number one thing I always want to leave any room with is love yourself. So that means actually taking the time to take those self-care days and putting yourself first, accepting yourself, and yeah, love yourself, accept yourself, and putting yourself first, making sure you're taking time out to actually check in with yourself and take out those days to give yourself some real self-care.
Love that. Wow, nicely said. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So, for me, through my mental health journey, and my self-care journey, I don't remember where I heard this. I apologize, but it just clicked for me, and I tell it to everyone, and I definitely believe it. It's that unfortunately, sometimes sad things happen. You can find yourself in an unfortunate, sad situation, which then negatively impacts your mental health. Um, and that's never fun. That is not your fault. Um, but but I do believe that it is your responsibility to then decide what you want to do about that, right? Because there's lots of people out there that you can go to for help, but no one can read your mind, unfortunately. And I know, believe me, I know it's tough. even though you're not responsible for the situation you're in right now, you are responsible for what you do next about it. Like we were saying before, right? Sometimes you don't feel like doing it, right? I know that I definitely didn't feel like talking to someone about what I was going through. Like I was avoiding that for months, but I knew would be good for me, so I
Yeah.
finally did it.
Actually,
Yes,
I
yeah.
just
Go
want to
ahead, go ahead.
share one thing on that note because I did Bianca's podcast last week, and something she shared with me. Bianca's one of our youth speakers, and she's an amazing, beautiful light soul. You
I
guys
love
definitely go and check
Bianca.
out the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's just a dope woman, but she shared this quote with me, and I just feel like it's so fitting. So I want to share it with you guys.
Yeah,
It's
go ahead.
feelings have no IQ. So just on the themes of what you're saying, like, sometimes we don't feel like doing that thing, but like, guess what? Our feelings don't have the IQ to make the decisions for us, right? We got to just sometimes go ahead and just go
Mm,
with it. So Bianca's words, I think her mom shared that with her. So it's such a powerful piece of advice that I'm going to take with me going forward. So
ooh, I
yeah,
love that. I love
yeah,
that. I love that. Oh my gosh, awesome.
yeah.
So, this is a last call. We're almost done. We'll stay on for another minute or two if anyone has any questions or comments based
I'm going to read
on
some of these
anything we said.
comments
Yeah, go for it.
here. Yes, yes, beautifully said. Thank you, Antonella. Thank you. Thank you both for this super informative live, taking a lot away from all of this advice. No, thank you. Thank you guys all for even being here. Honest, thank you so much for being here and sitting here with us for this last hour, 45 minutes, and just listening and being engaged. We appreciate every single one of you.
Yes, yes. You two are amazing. We are amazing. But so are
Thank you.
you. So are you all. Thank you,
Thank you,
everyone.
Marika.
Yeah,
I
amazing.
think
All right. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm saying that Hibbs had like last question. I don't know if we want to end out on this last question or we
Yes,
just want to
yes.
close out. Yeah. So Hibbs'
Go
question
ahead.
is, what is something you both did at the beginning to cope with your struggles that you wish you hadn't? Ooh, that's a really good question.
That you wish you
You
hadn't.
hadn't.
Okay. Okay. Well, all right. So we're gonna stay on for a little bit longer because
Yeah, I know this can go on for,
that's
yeah, that's a loaded
no.
question.
I love that. I love that, and
Yeah, yeah,
I want to answer the question, but it's not like a 1 second answer. That's why.
exactly,
Okay. So
exactly.
something I did that I wish I hadn't. So I'm gonna say there were definitely some things that I did which later I found out to be not helpful. I'll say it like that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't blame myself for it. I don't shame myself for it. I don't say, "Oh, I should have known better," because really, I didn't. Like I'm just trying
Right,
to figure it out.
exactly.
So one thing for me, I really felt the need to open up about what I was going through to someone. And so I felt like I would tell a lot of people, and in the end, it didn't always work out to my favor. Um, so my advice to that is definitely you should talk to people, but pick a few really close people that you can really
Mm-hmm.
trust and you feel safe with. Yeah,
For sure.
yeah. What about you?
Um, for me, I think it's funny. It's like the opposite of, what you did.
Oh,
For me,
really?
I guess
Okay.
the thing that I wish, yeah, the thing that I'd done that I wish I hadn't done was I wish I hadn't bottled everything up. I really wish that I
Well,
had
yeah.
spoken to somebody about it. I mean, and I totally resonate with what you're saying because I mean, I would have chosen a few trusted people that I really know care for me and want the best for me to open up to. And yeah, that's the only thing that I really wish I would have done that I didn't do.
Yeah. I think that was actually perfect. So bottom line, don't tell everyone, don't tell no one, but tell a few key, really important people that
Yeah.
you trust in your life. Yeah, for sure. So, question, Marika, will you be doing another one? Yes, we will definitely be doing another one. And watch out on our Instagram. You will hear more about it very, very soon. And if you like this, check out our podcast because it's really similar to this, authentic, open conversations around mental health. You can get to it through our Instagram profile, and we upload a new one every week. So that's pretty cool. Amazing advice. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you for your question, Hiba. All right. Last call. Any questions?
This was really fun. I really
Yeah,
enjoyed.
I
I
love
really
it.
enjoyed this. Yeah.
I loved it. I loved it. The
Yes, the
podcast
podcast is
is amazing.
amazing.
It
Yes,
is.
I agree. I
It's pretty
agree.
awesome.
Definitely. It really is.
Love it. All right. Awesome.
Thank you
So,
both.
oh wait. Thank you both so much for sharing. You're welcome. You're welcome.
No, thank you. Thanks for being here.
Yes. So, if you're just joining or if you joined halfway through, definitely I encourage you to watch it all from the very beginning after it's posted. Really great job. Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, if you guys missed it, we will be posting it in our story if you missed it.
yeah, for sure. All right.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, thank you all so much. This was incredible. I had a lot of fun. I love this.
Yeah.
And I want to end off with saying, you know what? No matter what you're going through, we are with you. We are here for you. We all love you, and we believe in your power to change your life. We believe in your power to turn things around because you are powerful, you are worth it, and there are amazing things coming for us all.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. It's such a lovely note
All
to leave
right.
us on. Thank you so much, Michael. Thank you guys all for being here. Thank you guys all for tuning in. Thank you guys all for engaging and adding into the questions and the comments. If you guys liked what you guys heard, definitely hop on over to youthspeak.ca. Check out some of our more of our content, some of our programming over there, as well as check out our podcast, YouTube videos, and we'll be back next week again for another live. So tune in here for
Same
sure.
day, same time.
Definitely. So thank you guys all for coming.
All right.
Thanks to everyone. You guys have a lovely rest of evening.
Good night, everyone. And if you didn't, do something that falls in line with self-care for you. All right.
Do it tonight. Yes.
Yeah. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Have a good night.